What's up, geeks and gamers? Welcome into Geeks Gamers Daily. How many times can I say geeks and gamers in this opening? I don't know. But I was so inspired by President Trump at the Black Journalist press conference yesterday, an interview, that I decided we had to have Mike here for Geeks and Gamers Daily. And Ryan insisted on it because Ryan is the chief DEI officer of Friday Night Tights. What's up, Ryan?
Yeah, that's true. Still hanging on to that job. I know a lot of people are purging their DEI, all the stuff they're doing, but we're hanging on to it. We're old fashioned here. I'm still going to be operating the DEI stuff, and that's why we needed an appearance from Mike to maintain our social credit score.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, been watching this crazy light-skinned bitch walk around talking about how black she is for the last couple of days. It's kind of frustrating. Pretty fucking wild, man.
That must be rough for you.
Yeah, I wish I could just walk around telling everybody I'm just white exclusively. I'm like, no, I'm a white guy. I promise. It wouldn't work like that. So yeah,
you should start telling people you're Indian.
Yeah, I could probably get away with that.
Yeah, I heard that. Dude, that I don't know how much of it. Did you watch all of it, Ryan? The Trump thing with the
I watched some of the highlights of it or whatever.
Damn, man, it was so funny, man.
There's also like a bunch of clips of like old Kamala clips that are like her and Mindy Kaling.
Yeah,
Mindy Kaling is like talking about Indian stuff, and she's just like, "You're Indian."
Yeah,
like a lot of people know this, but you're actually Indian. She's like, "Yep, yeah." She's like, "You like." And then Kamala's like, "You actually look like half of my family does." And Mindy Kaling's like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I've been telling people we're related, blah, blah, blah." All of a sudden, she black.
Yeah.
Black, trying to use slang and stuff, bro.
For Trump to sit there in front of all these black journalists and goes, "She was Indian, and then she became black."
It's like, and he even said, not that there's anything wrong with that. Like,
he did the Seinfeld meme.
It's so freaking good, dude. I was dying. Then he stole her water. I don't know if you saw that. He actually stole her water from her.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying like he got the non-poisonous one.
It's so wild, dude.
I saw a bunch of people posting like different things. It's like, look, Trump knew this weak woman would never be able to open her water bottle, so he helped loosen it. And then other ones are like, look at Trump grabbing that and tightening it while she's not looking, just to be an asshole.
Oh man. But yes, so we're here today. We've got a couple of topics to talk about for sure. We got Mr. Bungle for 2 gifted memberships after becoming a new member. Thank you, my friend. And also with a $5 super chat, says, "What I find weird is that Jay's big forehead is the perfect size for a 100K play button, and it's not there. Conspiracy? I think so. Yes. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to get Did you ever get the Sports Wars play button? Yeah, it's back there, right, Ryan?
Yeah,
so
I got both of them.
See, I've never I never applied for my D-Day Cobra play button. I kind of just, I don't know, maybe I just don't want them to know that channel exists, as soon as they see it and they're like, yeah, we probably need to get rid of this one. That's always been my concern with those play buttons, though. I think if Sports Wars passes, I think D-Day Cobra will be fine.
yeah, exactly. Like, spoiler alert, they don't actually fucking care.
I
like 100,000 subs is nothing anymore.
It really isn't. It really isn't. But Jay has mine for Geeks and Gamers, and so he has it, and he put a piece of tape over the Geeks and Gamers part and wrote Drunk 3PO on it. So
he's like, I'll return it when I hit 100K. He thought that was going to happen like 2 years ago. And now he's just been holding that thing hostage ever since.
Professor Sugon D's nuts for 20 says, I thought Mike was Dominican.
I thought I was Dominican too, but I was wrong.
Yeah. Hey, it happens, right?
Yep.
That's the way it goes.
They all look the same. Yeah.
The fact that Elon responded to Gavin Newsom with that is the fact that we have the 2 most famous people and most influential people on the planet are Elon Musk and Trump, and all they do is just meme and sarcastically respond to people. What a weird timeline we're in, man.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's pretty awesome.
Nice if Trump was back on Twitter.
God,
yeah, that would be nice.
It would be like, it's a huge, I get it. He's making a lot of money off True Social. It's a massive mistake for him to not be on Twitter right now. It's a massive fucking mistake. It really is. Him being on Twitter and just ratioing the hell out of everybody would be the best thing ever.
Well, I don't think he should respond to anybody. I don't think he needs to do that.
He
He just
would.
needs to post. Like all he needs to do is post, though.
Yeah.
Like some of those old fucking Trump posts that just like pop up, whether it's like 4th of July or whatever. Happy 4th of July, even to the haters and the losers. Like those are the things we need back.
Like he talking
Really
about
be arguing with like 100 follower people, but just him making a tweet. That's what we need.
We do need that 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So I haven't been following this. Or we got Clemson PC in the house. Says Mike is Epic Mike greater than Mazza.
Yeah.
There you go. Not a hard accomplishment at all.
No.
But Ryan, what's the deal with this Kathleen Kennedy, Gina Carano situation? I'm very interested because I don't know the story.
All right, let's get into it. Let me pop this up here. Okay. Boom. So obviously, it's been 3.5 years since Gina Carano was fired by Lucasfilm, since they lied about her on the way out, since they tried to destroy her career. It's been almost 4 years since that point, which is kind of hard to believe. And we know the story. It's not like she was going to go away and hide or anything. She was going to keep standing up for people, keep standing up for people being able to speak their political viewpoints while comparing all of her other co-stars like Pedro Pascal and people that went out there and tweeted insane, like crazy stuff. Yet no action was taken by Disney or Lucasfilm. Well, that all led to the big lawsuit filed by Gina Carano, funded by Elon Musk, against Disney. And despite the mainstream media saying this has no shot, it's going to get dismissed, just laughing about it, well, not so fast. The Gina Carano lawsuit is moving forward. The big ruling that we got was that last week at some point that said Disney's motion to dismiss was denied, and this case is moving forward. You have to be worried if you're Disney about what could potentially come out of this, who might be forced to testify, what discovery they might find. Well, there's now a list of people who may be called to testify when or if this goes to trial, and there's some interesting names on there. Gina Carano calls for Pedro Pascal, Kathleen Kennedy to testify over Mandalorian firing.
Holy crap.
Damn,
Gina
bro.
Carano's legal battle. I fucking hate Hollywood Reporter doing this. Gina Carano's legal battle over her firing from The Mandalorian could feature a star-studded cast of witnesses, including Pedro Pascal, Jon Favreau, and ex-Disney chief executive Bob Chapek. She also included Bear Grylls, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, and Lynn Hale, the engineer of the publicity campaign behind Star Wars. Could you imagine getting Kathleen Kennedy in the courtroom, or even just in depositions and things like that, being asked what she knows about this entire thing? That would be glorious.
What is the likelihood that if this does go to trial, that there will be cameras? Do we know? Do we have any idea if that's even possible? Or
no
what?
idea what the rules are, and I think it's different based on where you're at and what type of court it's at. I'm not sure. I don't know. There would certainly be a lot of public interest in this trial, however.
Dude, like this would probably be bigger than the Johnny Depp trial.
Oh yeah, easily.
Because it's Disney, because it's Disney as a company. Not because Gina's not bigger than Johnny Depp, and you know Johnny Depp's a massive fucking star. But
I don't know.
When you bring Disney, when you bring Disney into it as a company, and the fact that their company's being exposed, I think it would be absolutely crazy if it was televised. If it's not, then no chance that it's going to have the attention that it would deserve. But
yeah,
man,
well, dude, it's wild because like Disney is very, very, very litigious. This is something that they do a lot. They, I know ex-employees that have worked at Disney, and they've talked about the legal battles that they get put in with Disney, and Disney loves to get people tangled up in court and all kinds of stuff. It's very rare for someone to be able to sue them and actually have enough of a case to get it through like this, because Disney is very image focused and they're very image conscious, and this looks really bad on them, and they don't want their actors, they don't want people like Kathleen Kennedy standing, having to deal with trials and giving depositions and stuff. This is like the worst case scenario for them, and a lot of people don't realize this is kind of unprecedented. I know that they probably tried to move heaven and earth to get this to get dismissed, and the fact that it didn't is pretty big. So
and I have no idea what, you know, Gina's mindset with all this is. I can guarantee you Disney's mindset probably now for the next year, because the trial's tentatively slated to start in September of 2025. It's going to be a long fucking time. But while they're trying to collect all this discovery and schedule all these depositions, all these things you would have to do, I guarantee you Disney's focus is to get this settled like
100%.
as quickly and as quietly as possible. I have
Mhm.
no idea what's in Gina's mind over all of those things, but like obviously our imaginations are going to run wild. The idea of, you know, a lawyer handing Kathleen Kennedy, you know, exhibit D, Pedro Pascal calling half the country Nazis. Be like, you know, when you saw this, was there any thought in your mind that, you know, maybe we should fire this man? Maybe we should fire Pedro? Like all of those things. I would love to hear Kathleen Kennedy sit there and try to worm her way through that on the stand. Holy shit.
Would be the greatest thing ever. Some people are saying it's because it's federal court. There's no cameras. Others are saying it's not federal court. So I don't know. I don't know which it is.
I don't know either. I know cameras aren't allowed in federal court. I just didn't know if this was a federal case or not. So
yeah. But yeah, I mean, right now, this has gone a lot further than Disney wanted it to, for sure. This is already much further than they've wanted it to go. So that's a good sign right there. And again, with Elon Musk backing it, with his attorneys backing it and everything, Gina clearly, she's a fighter. That's who she is. So she's not going to necessarily back down. But as Ryan said, I don't, you know, none of us really know what's in her mind. I mean, ultimately, I think, and I'm just speculating on this, I think ultimately what her goal here is to clear her name. That's ultimately all she really wants to do, whether that's a retraction from Disney or whatever. But this thing is definitely a lot further along than Disney would feel comfortable with right now. So the sky's the limit right now for how much further this thing can go. Well, what's the next step to determine if it actually goes to trial?
It's scheduled for trial now.
So it is scheduled for trial. So it really just comes down to if there's a settlement that Disney is going to offer to stop it from going to trial, correct?
Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, but now I think you get into the portion where you're starting to issue subpoenas to like actually interview people, do depositions, get discovery from them about a wide variety of things. And I think there would probably be some points where after you did spend enough time getting all these things together, Disney could probably put in maybe potentially another motion like, hey, we've been at this for months. They haven't found anything that we feel is compelling to actually make this, like, move this forward and issue another, like, potential motion to dismiss. I think that could be a possibility. But as of right now, it's going to be a long time, I think, before we hear anything about it.
What did you have, Mike? You had
Well, they're just going to drag this out. I mean, they could potentially, I think they could potentially appeal this, but they haven't talked about appealing it. So because we also have another recent case with DeSantis in the state of Florida against Disney when they were trying to remove the Reedy Creek district stuff, and the same thing happened. The judge dismissed or removed the dismissal. He was like, nope, this is going to go to trial. And then Disney tried to file an appeal, and then eventually they settled out of court for this stuff. And like you said, you know, it's really going to be up to Gina whether she decides, yeah, I'll take a settlement and we don't have to go to court. Disney does not want this to go to court. It is horrible for their image. It's horrible for their brand, and it's going to make them look really bad, because the thing is too, they do not want people to know how things go behind the scenes with them. They don't want people to know the inner workings of their company and all of that stuff. It's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. But the fact that they haven't made any announcements about appealing this, because
I don't know if this is like an appealable decision on this motion to dismiss. I don't quite think that is.
Yeah, so it's like, wow, like that. I mean, this is kind of huge. So it really kind of rests all on Gina what she wants to do with it, you know, and knowing that she's got these lawyers and she's got Elon Musk in her corner is kind of a big thing too. So
popcorn, get it out, get ready. Yeah. We'll see how this thing plays out. I'm excited to see what the next steps are going to be. And the idea of Kathleen Kennedy having to answer questions is just fantastic. The way Ryan presented it is perfect. Like, hey, this guy has like half the country says half the country's Nazis. Was there like any speculation as to fire him, or was there any decision, any discussion? If that's not the case, then why did you fire Gina for it? You know?
Yeah. Hey, look at these posts from let's see. It looks like a retarded man named Mark Ruffalo. Are you familiar with him? You know, shit like that.
Yeah. It's wild, man. Good on her. Man.
I love it. I love it. So we'll see what happens moving forward on that one.
Pedro takes the stand in his full Mando gear. That would actually be hilarious. It'd be like the only time in the past 3 years he's actually worn it too.
Oh, shit.
What if he walked up there holding Baby Yoda to try to get the cute points?
That would be really funny. Actually, yeah.
Oh man.
Everybody like, oh look, Disney's still trying to work the Baby Yoda gimmick to try to win over the lonely moms.
They stack the jury with wine moms. Yeah, that's like Disney's strategy going forward.
Oh God, you could have like this star-studded cast of people, man. Like Nelson Peltz comes in there, Ike Perlmutter. You know, like it could be all type of people talking about Disney's agenda from behind the scenes. It'd be pretty good. What if George Lucas gets called? Why did you hire Kathleen Kennedy to run Star Wars? What if the judge watches all the upper channels and he's like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this shit?
Well, that's a female judge, so
is it? Well, she probably doesn't watch us.
Maybe she's one of like the 8%. You know,
yeah, maybe. George Lucas walking in with his MAGA hat. Like, it's time to take Star Wars back, bitch.
It's like poetry.
Excuse me, Mr. Lucas. We were informed of a civil war that yourself, along with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, were attempting to usurp Kathleen Kennedy. Isn't any of that true? He's like, what the fuck? Like, actually, I would love that. Present some of these bullshit fucking videos from 5 years ago as evidence in a.
Do you have any information on the Lucas cut of The Rise of Skywalker?
I wasn't involved in that shit.
Oh shit.
Oh man. All right, Ryan, I'll let you catch up.
A Marcellus for 5. Ryan, are you buying that Bounty Hunter remaster? It dropped today on all systems. That was the game that got me into Mandalorian culture. It's funny. I actually I already own it on PlayStation. I might see what it's like, but Bounty Hunter was one of my favorite games when I was a kid. It came out, right around the same time like Attack of the Clones released. When my mom bought me a GameCube, we got, I think it was Super Smash Brothers and the Bounty Hunter game. Those are the first 2 games we got, and I played the fuck out of that thing.
What about Double Dash?
On that janky ass fucking controller.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you seriously just disrespect the GameCube controller?
Yeah, the GameCube controller is janky as shit.
No, it's not. That's one of the greatest controllers ever made.
That controller is kind of foul, bro.
It's not. The GameCube controller is one of the best controllers ever, and durable.
It's so completely non-symmetrical. It's fucking weird,
dude. I slammed my GameCube controller more times than I can count playing Double Dash, and it never broke. That thing was built like a fucking rock.
I broke several GameCube controllers playing Mario Kart on this channel. So.
GameCube controller was amazing. The disrespect.
It's janky and weird. I mean, I played with it all the time, but it is janky and weird.
It's a weird controller. Yeah.
Stigma for 5. Ryan, I picked up Star Wars Revan and Darth Plagueis to read after that Trash Fiber Show Acolyte. Loving them so far. The Revan one is a little bit divisive. The Revan novel is a little bit divisive. There's some people that weren't big fans of it, but Plagueis is amazing. So definitely read that. I like the Revan novel, but some people hated it. Archer blades for 320 yen. Curry or fried chicken, or curry fried chicken? Sounds like a question for Kamala at the debate. Night Stealer. Have you guys seen the Abandoned Films Black Panther trailer with Robert Downey Jr.? I heard somebody made a trailer like
sounds pretty good
with his face on it,
turning as Black Panther. Yeah, but I haven't seen it yet.
All right, they want the chat is divided on the GameCube situation. They want a poll, so let's see. I got you, chat. Let me sign into Geeks and Gamers.
What are you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say, well, here, let's see. GameCube controller, yes or no?
No, it's like
you can't put that many details in the fucking YouTube poll.
That's not even like GameCube controller. Yes or no? It's like, do you just put like, do you like the GameCube controller or something? Or
that's the same fucking question.
GameCube controller question mark?
They the audience understands it. The audience understands it. Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Do
GameCube controller?
you like the GameCube controller?
Thanks for telling us exactly how you're spelling it. That's good.
Like,
Leave me
is
alone.
is the GameCube controller janky as fuck? Yes or no?
Like, that was the question in the first
There.
Exactly.
place.
Woke Breaker for 5. Camel lady should just say she seasons her greens with curry. Boom. Midwest meetup anytime soon. Hail all. I don't know. I'm not in
Ooh.
charge of meetups.
This is a close one, man. This is a close one.
I'm not a fan.
Spirian for 199 with a super sticker. Thank you, Spirian. Appreciate that. Jeremy is gay for 2 says so is Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Bungie, being an Arnold Palmer, Mike gets crap from both sides. I feel bad for him. The mouth and butt, rough.
Yeah, man. It's rough. It's hard out here. Yeah.
Norman Conquest for 5. Shout out to GCA that a killer stream with NW and Badger last night. If anyone here isn't subscribed, you're missing something special.
Shout out to the GCA.
Yeah.
The Proficial John Morrow, Judge Joe Brown on Kamala Harris.
Oh, it's glorious.
Dude, he went in on her.
It's glorious. I reacted to that last night on CobraCast. It's glorious.
Shit's wild.
Over on Rumble, Eric K says, no normies will ever hear anything about this case ever. The only people that know anything will be following it. The media can spin a loss and do unjust if they mention it at all. Maybe. Badger Boy. I don't know why I said benign. I was going to say benign sexism, like Leslie Headland. Badger Boy, Trump would gain 0 voters by being on Twitter, but he'd probably lose a few 100,000. He needs to stay on Truth. I think that is completely inaccurate.
Yeah, I
don't
listen.
agree.
I think that's completely not the case at all. Inverse that.
True Social sucks.
Every single person on True Social is voting for Trump. Period.
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden Nuggets, member for 6 months. Yes, Mike. Hey, brother. My country's a bit of a state at the moment, but my operation's tomorrow and I'll finally be able to travel. Plus, Jeremy's gay.
Yeah. What country does Golden Nugget live in?
I think the UK somewhere.
Oh, yikes! Yeah, you gotta get out of there.
Mr. Bungle, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mr. Bungle.
Thank
with
you.
that
Hell yeah, man.
fantastic mustache. Ryan is right for 5. Hey, Ryan, I'm working on getting you that black sister you wanted. Be checking your P.O. box. Also, thank you for having black jobs on G&G. Hail Trump. So,
What's a black job? Anyone with a job.
yeah.
It was so good.
I'm working on that black sister reference so there are 2 very famous swords of the Targaryen family, Blackfire and Dark Sister. And I accidentally called one Dark Sister. I said I really want a black sister sword. So I accidentally mixed them up. But I would love Dark Sister, but I can only imagine what I'm going to get in my PO box there. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. Yeah.
Gregory Lieber for 2, KK on the stand. Good golly, Miss Molly. That'd be good. Pre-done course for 2, Mike. Change those goddamn batteries already.
I don't even have a fire alarm plugged in right now. I ripped it out the wall and threw it away
Because it was beeping.
Yeah. Well, actually,
All right.
no, it was just broken. It just didn't work. Period. But yeah.
No wins 56-44. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolutely
that.
ridiculous.
Dude, it was
But it's a
janky.
But it's in an echo chamber here. They only do what Jeremy says, apparently, even though it's like the 7th poll I've lost.
That's
this
that's like
audience.
the opposite. We will do everything we can to make Jeremy lose these polls. Yeah, I'll compromise my morals to make sure Jeremy
I'm
loses.
disappointed in all of
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go full Frost and just trash the chat.
Start
They're all a
screaming
bunch
at
of
him.
sexist and racist.
Yeah, it's wild, dude. I did have a question for Ryan because I was talking last night at my stream, and I'm kind of curious. You're talking about the Revan book and stuff, and somebody asked if, and I kind of curious what you think about this. If you think that the KOTOR 1 and 2 have actually hurt the lore, because it feels like a lot of people use KOTOR as a justification for the Acolyte shows like that, and if it's almost muddied the waters on what the actual rules of the Force are and stuff like that. 'Cause I know we've talked about that before and some of the inaccuracies in that when it comes to canon. So
So the problem is people are retards. Like in general, people are fucking retarded, right? George Lucas can sit there and explain exactly what balancing the force is, and you still have retarded people, including ones working on Star Wars, that misinterpret it. So that's just the way it is. When you look at Kreia and like her teachings, she was fucking wrong, right? That's the point. She's a fucking villain. Yet people are like taking the things she says and trying to apply them to why this should be possible or this should be okay or whatever. She's the fucking villain.
Yeah.
And that's something that people kind of forget. So no, like I don't think it's it did damage. It's just people are fucking dumb. And even the most simple concept, some people will fucking miss. Like
that's
George
fair.
Lucas and balance.
Yeah.
But I've heard that a lot. People like trying to blame that instead of just blaming like
retarded people.
You don't blame a puppy for fucking like a 2-week-old puppy for pissing on the floor. You're like, that's kind of what puppies do. You can't blame retards for being retarded.
That's fair.
Put that on a quote.
Yeah,
you can't blame retards for being retarded. Ryan Kendall, 2024.
Yeah,
that's true.
Pretty good.
I was going to say speaking of, but that might not be the best way to introduce this next one. I want to shift gears a little bit to talk about Marvel. I want to shift gears to talk about Marvel here because obviously a massive story over the past couple days has been the big announcement, Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU, not to play Iron Man, but instead to play Dr. Doom. Obviously, a lot of people have very strong opinions. Some of them actually absolutely love it. Some of them hate it, see it as a desperate, pathetic move, especially once we found out the paydays that Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers are getting. Insane amount of money. But there's one person that we hadn't necessarily heard from, and that's the person who Robert Downey Jr. is effectively replacing. Because the big bad for Avengers 5 was not supposed to be Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom. It was supposed to be Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. That didn't exactly go down very well. He was asked about it, and he's responded. Jonathan Majors, heartbroken over Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom replacing Kang in the next Avengers film, said he'd still return to the MCU if that's what Marvel wants. I will say this. He was kind of... cornered by TMZ, and they're walking along the sidewalk with him. They really fucking wanted him to say the reason that I'm being treated this way is because I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He didn't go that far to say that. But I thought it was an interesting conversation here. Let's listen to Jonathan Majors being ambushed by TMZ.
Hell yeah.
It was announced that Robert Downey Jr. was, being brought back from Marvel to play Dr. Doom. I mean, it looks like he's replacing your villain, Kang. I mean, are you hurt with the new direction that, Marvel is, going?
Yeah, heartbroken.
You are?
Yeah, of course. Come on. Yeah, of course. I love him. I love Kang.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Dr. Doom is wicked, though.
Yeah, it is good. It's going to be good. I mean, both Robert Downey Jr. and Ezra Miller have had, a history of trouble with, the law and getting arrested for felonies. I mean, you only had a misdemeanor. Do you feel like it's unfair that you're not being given the same opportunities as them?
Jesus Christ. Dude,
it's such a retarded
loaded as hell.
Robert Downey Jr. was fucking blacklisted from Hollywood for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Very famously. So it's such a retarded thing to say that when Robert Downey Jr. went through a period of time where he wasn't able to get jobs, where his career was in shambles, all these things, before he was able to kind of get that second chance and make a massive recovery into the superstar we see today. And the Ezra Miller situation is actually really similar to Jonathan Majors, where a product was currently still yet to be released with The Flash, where Ezra Miller starts getting into all these things. They kind of say, okay, we're going to buckle down. We're going to keep him very removed from the press, but we're going to put this movie out anyway. As soon as that movie comes out, they kind of just fucking separate from Ezra Miller, bottom line, period. Whereas Marvel did the same thing. When all this came out, Loki season 2 was still a thing. They kind of removed him from the marketing, a lot of that, but they still let the project come out. And then after Loki season 2, right after that's when the trial happens and the verdict drops, found guilty, boom, he gets fired. It's actually super similar to Ezra Miller. So the idea that you're trying to say this is not fair, it's just bullshit.
And to bring up the Robert Downey Jr. thing, I mean, after all, however long ago that was with him, and how he's kind of it was a tough sell for Favreau to get Robert Downey Jr. in as Iron Man. Like that was a tough sell that he had to make. And obviously that paid off in the long run, but it wasn't like that was a home run pick. Like, oh, we're really going to bring this guy who's got this history of all these problems in, and he made the most of it. He hasn't had any problems since, and he's completely rebuilt his entire image. And for TMZ to sit there and bring that up is just typical fucking leftist bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, it's obvious he doesn't want to talk to them, and they don't give a fuck about any of that. But yeah, like it is a very different situation, you know, with what was going on with Robert Downey Jr. because he did kind of pay his dues, but like, yeah, Ezra Miller was actively walking around acting crazy every week. I mean, like every week there was a new story about that guy. But yeah, I think to Ryan's point, it's obvious that they're trying to get him to say something or hoping to catch a gotcha, and he's trying to be like, nah, like it sucks, like because she's like, really, are you really heartbroken? He's like, yeah, of course I am. Like, why? Nobody wants to get fired from their job or whatever, but you know, he's also like, I don't want to say anything because if there's a chance for me to come back, I don't want to burn any bridges. So.
And he's so far he's handling it very well. I want to hear the rest of it because I haven't heard the whole thing, but he's handling it pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the next part.
Damn. I think it's fair that Mr. Downey is being and has been greeted with patience and curiosity and love, and that Mr. Miller's gotten the same treatment. And that they're being allowed to work their art and be creative at that level, you know. It's not. I'm not really. I didn't really get that. So you know.
Do you wish?
I so push back against the Robert Downey Jr. shit. Like,
yeah,
there's no fucking comparison because, like, look at what happened. Man was fucking blacklisted for a long fucking time.
Yes.
It's so stupid to say that now, 20 years after the fact, that, you know, it's nice to see him getting patience and love and curiosity. I don't know if he means courtesy. I don't know really what curiosity has anything to do with it. But that I think that's kind of bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
100% bullshit. 100% bullshit.
Especially the other factor in this as well is people fucking hated his character, right?
Yes.
For this to be said to be the next big bad in the MCU, extremely poorly received. Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, massive fucking flop. People really criticized his role in the two series or seasons of Loki as well.
Yep.
So even if the fucking all the issues with his ex-girlfriend, even if none of that came up, I think they probably would have wanted to change things and maybe not fired him or maybe not removed him, but probably significantly reduced his role and switch gears because nobody was fucking interested in this future for the MCU.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this is where the bitch makes it really fucking clear she wants him to say it's because I'm black.
You had like the same opportunity as them.
I mean, that's hard. I mean, come on. Yeah.
I mean, why do you think that's the case, though? Like, for them?
I don't know.
Would you want your old role back? Like, your old job back as King the Conqueror?
King?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love him. That's why I said I love him. I love him. I love King. Love Timeless. Love He Who Remains. Love him. If that's what the fans want, if that's what Marvel wants, let's roll. Hell yeah.
But the fans certainly don't want it. That's like been crystal clear. But,
I'll give him credit though. I know he had his one weird answer, but like she was trying so hard and he did not bite. He did not, and I give him credit for that. And obviously this is a situation he was not even prepared for. He was clearly bothered by it. He was clearly feeling awkward, and she was trying her best to get him to say what she wanted him to say, and he did not bite. So I give him full credit for that. It was overall, it was a pretty respectable response from him for the most part.
He took like a little nibble, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't going to like take that bait that they set down.
Yeah.
They wanted him to say it's because I'm a black man in Hollywood.
That's 100%.
Like that's desperately what they wanted the clip to be, and it wasn't that. So, credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Listen, we have seen Marvel fire people before and bring them back a few years later once controversy died down a little bit. I think the Jonathan Majors career will eventually find its footing again. Like we see this all the fucking time in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with him in the future. But I, for one, not very sad that Kang the Conqueror is no longer part of the MCU, because I thought the way they did his character and the way it was acted by Jonathan Majors, I think neither of them deserve to remain in the MCU.
Yeah, I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. announcement's gonna. It's not much better from a story standpoint, but it's a much better from a discussion standpoint. It has made the Marvel Cinematic Universe interesting to talk about, at least, even though I don't love the idea of him coming back as Doctor Doom, or him coming back at all. It has at least made the conversation far more interesting than it was. So I guess we can leave it at that. I got to bounce right now. So thank you guys. That's why Mike is here. Take over. So
to leave me in a room, leave me alone with Ryan on his stream. Yeah.
That's true.
Mike is take over. Hail to the chat. Love you guys. I'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye. There you go. Just you and me, Mike.
I know. How's this gonna go? Right? What could go wrong?
I'm gonna read super chats. Scott McKenzie, member for 24 months. Hail Jeremy, Ryan, and Mike. The trial will never happen, and they will settle before if forced to testify.
Somebody did say something that like it was a condition of Elon helping her that she wouldn't settle. I don't know if that's actually true.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty split on it right now. A lot of people are split on whether they think it will or will not. I don't know. I don't have any inside baseball for you either. Darian Murphy for 199. No cameras in federal court. That's right.
Yeah.
SBZ for 5. Ryan, can you tell us another story about you versus fast food workers? No new ones come to mind necessarily, SBZ. Usually I let them fly if it happens. Grandmaster Chris for 5. Good to know the Paris Olympics share Ryan's belief about a woman's place being in the kitchen, not a boxing ring. Yeah, I made a video about that for Sports Wars a little bit earlier today, and that is after getting copyright blocked in the first like 15 minutes, it was like shooting off. The first video was taken off, got copyright blocked by Olympics, which happens a lot with Olympic stuff, as I've tried to tell a lot of different people. Had to put out a second one, started off slow. Now it's taken the fuck off. So if you want to know all about that, head over to Sports Wars and check out my most recent video there. AI sees the Bible, every eye ministries. Fellow light skin, I will never call myself black.
Well, there you go. I mean,
what do you call yourself, Mike? Just Mike?
Yeah, just Mike. Hey, I'm just me. I'm just kind of like, I'm just Ken, you know? Yeah.
Are there a lot of black people around like your area?
I've lived in both. So I grew up in like ghetto ass all black neighborhoods. And then I also like for part of my childhood grew up in literally the middle of fucking nowhere where it was all white redneck dudes everywhere. Like I was the only like white kid or black kid in like 50 miles. So I kind of got to experience both. It was weird. Okay. But I will say this, I'd much rather go live out in the middle of nowhere around a bunch of rednecks that are super nice and super chill than a bunch of crazy black dudes shooting at each other every night. So yeah, because it gets kind of wild out there in the ghetto ass neighborhoods. So
wilding out. Super Mastermind for 5. Her action figures worth tons. The rest of their merch fails. They dropped her for failing to make the customer happy. The merch is her proof. Yeah, you know, and obviously when you do fire someone in, like that publicly and then all the stuff gets discontinued, there's that factor as well there for the merch. But yeah, I think all of us can agree it was a big mistake for them to do what they did.
Yeah.
Scott McKenzie, they'll settle before testifying. Do a mock trial of this or with, say, Frank Gore's team. Hey, maybe we could do that. Atomic Patriot for 5. Disney deserves this with everything they've done. Violations of civil rights, firing Gina Carano, and practically labeling her as the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, Disney deserves everything that's coming
Absolutely.
to them. Animating Andy for 11. If Gina's going to drag KK to court, maybe she could also sue her and Headlamp for failing to get drunk to 100K subs with the $180 million garbage show. Why is it not Jay's? Why is it everyone else's fault but Jay? He'll get there eventually.
Because he's been deflecting for the last 5 years about why his channel isn't doing well.
But it was doing well, like better than a long time.
Yeah, he just stopped posting videos for a while. Yeah. I don't know.
let's see here. 96.7K.
Yeah. He's in there.
96.7K. But he had some bangers though, right? With the
the
whole
Acolyte blew up
Acolyte
for him.
stuff.
Yeah, he was doing gangbusters for a little bit there. But I don't know what he's going to do now. What do we have going on? What's coming out soon that he can talk about?
Well, I don't know what he's interested in talking about, so I'm not sure. He could do some making fun of Rings of Power stuff.
That's true. Yeah, Rings of Power blow up.
The Trillist, Kamala Harris, the new Rachel Dolezal. She can't stop adding curry spices to her fried chicken. Cable Watson for 5. Where does Keemstars trying to start a podcast with Chris Tyson and Dr. Disrespect both hosting? Also, Moist Critical made a clarification vid last night. Jeremy can fucking cover all the YouTube drama he wants to. I'm sure he'll do an update. Follow the example of Rachel Dolezal, Elizabeth Warren. Be whatever you want to be. The world is your bivalve mollusk. Taker, Kennedy's defense. Well, you can call the right Nazis all you want, but to imply the left resembles that at all is grounds for termination.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sandman, if Gina doesn't settle, does that give more ammo to other class action lawsuits against Disney from investors? I don't necessarily know if it gives more ammo to like class action stuff from investors. This is more like the specific, like improper treatment of one person based on their political views.
Yeah.
But if all of this, maybe who knows what comes up, and there might be some like things in there where people say, we don't care how much money this loses. We just want to push a message. If that like the declaration comes out from somebody, then maybe you could be like, oh, really interesting. As investors, I really care about how much money you guys make, but I don't think like the case in and of itself as it currently constitutes. Lance for 5. Pedro not showing up and it being the stunt double would be funnier. Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of like showrunners that have just like run things into the ground, do you care about Doctor Who at all? Have you watched Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Mike?
So I'm new to Doctor Who. I'm actually running through Matt Smith's current run right now. And I fucking love it, but I keep getting told it's going to get really bad here.
You're a new Whovian?
Yeah. Yeah. It's another identity.
Gary told me about this fucking clip, and obviously like that we've been memeing on this gay black Doctor Who with trans allegories, like how insanely over the top it's been.
Yeah.
Gary sent me this the other day. This is the response that Russell T Davies, so the showrunner for all this stuff, gave after what he feels about passionate Doctor Who fans critiquing his writing.
Oh no.
Like look at the bottom line there. We're going to get to that line, but it's like a minute long, so let's let it play a little bit.
Maybe I should. Maybe that's wrong. I'm talking about Twitter, mainly or X, mainly as the portal online.
Can barely understand him.
The fucking Brits.
Increasingly, I think that's worse in society. I see what's said out there, and that's a long discussion all the time. But I'm not happy to be part of that. So that's tricky. So that stops you online in many ways. Or we could spend your whole life on there. So I get my agent tells me what's going on. I get people kind of here in every somebody there's kind of osmosis with what's the culture wars or whatever kind of creep through. To be honest, in terms of all that activity, I'm much more interested in what's happening. I think Doctor Who's fine. Doctor Who. Well, how can I say this? It's like I think there are things happening in the culture wars, particularly with trans rights these days, that are a million times more important than what's happening.
Fuck.
What happens to be forced, and it's getting worse. It's terrifying. So,
you're fighting some of those battles on the show just by the representation.
Yes.
And so that kind of gives you an idea, right, of what they're willing to put in all of these things because they are activists.
Yeah.
Right. The issues around trans rights are a million times more important than Doctor Who. Which if you want to feel passionate about that, that's one thing. But now you are taking Doctor Who and using that as a vehicle to make that like your point about the series. And it was pretty blatantly obvious in some of the stuff they put out over the last year.
Yeah, well, people just sent me clips of it and they go, this is what you have to look forward to. And I was like, dude, this doesn't even seem like the same show. First of all, stupid as fuck to watch that that chick walking around with a mask on, sitting at a table with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But like the thing is too, over in the UK, they've always been way more progressive. They've always been very open. Their television shows like have had trans characters on them. They've always had stuff like that on their shows. Gay characters are consistent. That's never been an issue. It's like they saw what was happening over here in the United States and what people are trying to push for, and wanted to feel like maybe they mattered, or maybe they were trendy, and they're like, oh, look at that, well, we got to push for these kind of things. That was never an issue. I mean, anybody that's watched like, you know, Doctor Who, you had, you know, Captain Jack like on their mouth kissing the Doctor, and nobody was like angry about it or like trying to get the show canceled or anything like that. Now all of a sudden they're like, no, it's a really big issue, we need all this representation on there. And I'm like, no, it just kind of feels like you're bored and you don't know what else to do, because Russell D Davies had a great run in Doctor Who earlier before he left, and now him coming back, it's not the same show. He's not writing the same anymore. Like, it's just like everything is about activism for him, and it's obvious that the show has like completely suffered for it. So
Yeah, I think you see that a lot with people like did great work like 20 years ago or whatever.
yeah,
But 20 years ago, it was not acceptable. Like it wasn't acceptable for the companies to have people using these as like this is a platform for something. Over the past couple of decades, that's changed, right? Because of different pressure and DEI hires and all this inclusion bullshit that's going on. So even the same writers who, back when they were forced to put something out that was like for everyone to enjoy, they now get to do what they've wanted to do the whole time, which is slide that kind of activism into things, which is kind of sad.
It is sad. And they even try to get into like racism with the Doctor being black and stuff. But like the thing is, from an American standpoint, obviously we have a lot of history with racism and whatever that looks like for people. But over in the UK, that's not really a thing. Like
if it was Idris Elba, do you think that there would be as much of a fucking backlash against this Doctor? I don't probably think so. But
no.
they wanted to get the most flamboyantly gay dude they possibly could, regardless of his acting ability. Like, that's why he was hired.
That's 100% it. They wanted somebody that was going to piss people off. Same with Jodie. Was her? I don't remember her fucking last name, but like, you know, when they hired her, people are like, why would you hire her? Like, no, there were a list of female doctors that people would have been fine with, and they cast the one person, and people are like, no, that's not it for it. It's like they want to find victimhood in this so they could try to shield bad decisions and keep their activism going instead of hiring good actors. So, yeah.
Force Geek for 5 thoughts on Bounty Hunter Remaster, potential remaster of Revenge of the Sith game. It's so underrated, had a great 1v1 mode. I have been standing the Revenge of the Sith video game for as long as I've been alive, basically. Well, as long as it's been out and I've been alive. I played that fucking game before the movie came out.
Same. Yeah.
It was fucking amazing. I would love if they did a remaster of that. Bounty Hunter, I haven't really heard too much feedback on it. I already own it on PlayStation 5. So I don't know what exactly they've done, if it's if it's literally just, hey, cleaned up just a touch or not. So
yeah,
we'll see. I loved the Bounty Hunter game when I was a kid, though. Wolf from Heart for 199. Hashtag revenge for Dave Filoni's dog. Oh, instead of rescue, it's now revenge. The dog is officially dead. Fucked to death. Dave Filoni's basement. Atomic Patriot. What is the best console controller? Also, are y'all looking forward to either Dead Rising Remake or Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero? Anyway, hail the 199.
I personally think the Xbox has the best controller. Either the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One.
Like, I'm fine with the Xbox controller, but I grew up with PlayStation. So for me, that's like fair. It's always going to feel more comfortable for me having a PlayStation controller in my hands. But now at this point, you kind of have like the PS5 controller is turning into like something that feels almost more like an Xbox controller in a way. The way they thickened like the handles and everything.
Yeah. But do you? That's a weird question because I don't have a PlayStation. Do you like the haptic feedback and the triggers, or do you turn that off normally?
It just depends on what it is. There's sometimes where it's like it'll like affect your gameplay. You know, like because it can get like difficult if you're just used to fucking sitting there resting and no problem, like with a flick of a finger, you can hit that button. All of a sudden, it can change and be actually hard to do what you want and have the control you want. But overall, I think it's a great like kind of development and a new feature in games. You just kind of have to get used to it. But I leave it on. I don't turn it off.
Oh, that's rad. Yeah, and I don't give a fuck about the Dead Rising remake now that they've changed shit in the game, and I haven't played enough Dragon Ball Z games recently to be super invested in Sparkling Zero.
Elite Neo for 5. Hopefully Gina does not settle with Disney and takes the Cobra Kai approach with them. Strike hard, no mercy.
There you go.
That'd be great. Xbox original mothership controller was a wild one. Yeah, that did look weird.
The Duke, that's that stupid giant ass controller. Yeah,
bro, like all of fucking Nintendo's controllers are fucking weird. That like they finally, right after having the original NES, Super Nintendo, whatever, they went on this like kind of wild turn of different type of controllers. Now they're like, hey, we got the Joy-Cons, but also we have this thing that looks just like an Xbox controller that everybody actually wants to play on. So we'll sell you that too.
Yeah, the Pro controllers are actually really good. Every time I've used one, I'm like, holy shit, this is a great controller. But yeah, it's not all fucky and weird.
Except the buttons are reversed.
Yeah, because they have to be different somehow. So
yeah. CM Chunk, the only way Gina settles if it includes admission of wrongdoing in the firing of KK. I don't know about the firing part, but I do think if it was like a complete admission of wrongdoing, something like that, I think I think of more so than monetary value. She wants like her name cleared. Like, I think she wants that to happen for her to say, we fucked up. We shouldn't have done this. This was wrong.
And arguably that's the worst thing you could do to Disney more than money. Money isn't a big deal, but their image is everything. And for them to have that permanent stain of, yes, we made a huge mistake when it came to her firing would be a massive failure on Disney's part. So, yeah.
The Raging D-head for 2. We get the question, Ryan. We aren't the NABJ here. Well, whenever Jeremy wants to do this, I want to make it clear that he's writing something that actually like will assess the point, and it's not trying to slide some other bullshit in there that could skew the results of the poll. So we got to be clear. Lieutenant Corporal Anime Guy for 2. So Transformers 1, yes or no? I think it's fire.
I'm glad that they're finally doing one. Yeah,
I don't know.
Are you not a Transformers
guy? No.
I've always wanted a war for Cybertron, an actual no humans Transformers movie. So I'm glad we're finally getting one that looks decent quality, but we'll see if it actually ends up that way. We're going to get a bunch of non-binary Transformers again. So
I forgot, Mike, I should tell you.
Here we go.
I got a new shirt.
Dude, that's actually amazing. I'm gonna be honest, all I saw was you pulling out some white thing and unfolding it, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, not on the stream, bro.
Thought I was about to put the hood on.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I gotta get this out.
So, no, I'm getting that dry cleaned. I got some blood on it a few nights ago.
I gotta make sure it looks good on the display case. That's actually a pretty great shirt, though.
It is. Chris Coran sent it to me. I need to wear it out.
That's rad.
Ken Caniff from Connecticut for 2. Yeah, Ryan. Now give some to Big Mike. Oh, fuck yeah. Thank you. Shan Dogs, Jeremy, return the fucking Sony camera. The reason why your webcams are failing is you need to update your motherboard. If not, get a Meta PC. Jeremy has just a lot of problems. Jeremy has a really nice PC, actually, from Meta PC. He just can't figure out technology ever.
Yeah, he's just retarded. Like, it's not anything to do with the technology. It's him.
This is a man, like, just to get you guys straight, this is a man who, for a long time, once he finally did get a good PC, he recorded his videos on his PC, uploaded it to like a Google Drive so he could download it onto his phone and edit with dog shit fucking editing software from his phone, and then would upload it to YouTube. Instead of just using editing software on the PC, which is far easier and quicker.
Yeah.
But, you know, Alabama. Jeremy's gay for 2. Poll, is Jeremy gay? It's not even worth doing a poll. He'll get destroyed on that one. Risa R becomes a channel member. Thank you, Risa. Thank you.
Risa? Yeah.
Roblox head Leslie Headland for Jeremy. You got any black jobs open in a G&G?
No, I filled the only spot. They couldn't even hire a full black guy. So
Pre-dawn course for 2. Jeremy, remember the Big Johnson t-shirts? He probably owns a bunch of them. Yeah. If Jonathan Majors wants to play Kang again, he needs to vote for Trump. Trump will save his black job. Mr. Bungle with another 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mr. Bungle. And again, shout out to our Rumble audience who's still over there. We appreciate you guys hanging out as well. Gen X Memories for 5. Good morning, gentlemen. Jeremy, what's your take on the Tide this fall? Hail the 199. Well, he doesn't know.
No.
When football season comes back, Jeremy might actually make some appearances on Sports Wars to talk about football. We'll see.
Imagine that, right? Yeah.
Mr. Bungle for 5. Love y'all's perspectives and drive to bring common sense back. I'm fully behind you, but not in a trans voice beardo way. Chicken leg mofo.
Oh shit, bro.
Did you watch
Strays? Did you watch him trying to use his sound thing and completely failed at it?
No.
No, he tried to do his voice like augmenter or whatever with his new soundboard. He tried to do what Krista does, and we were just like, "Wow, you sound really gay." And he's like, oh, "Okay, well, I'll just turn it off now." And then we were like, "Yeah, you still sound gay." It never worked. He just looked like a retard trying to make his stuff work. It was kind of embarrassing.
Nice. Brockatron for 5. Ryan, without spoiling it, what do you think about my theory that Hugh turns on Rhaenyra for basically causing his daughter's death by the blockade? I'll be honest with you. We are getting way more background about characters like Hugh and Ulf than we ever did in Fire and Blood, just kind of by the nature of the show. There's not, it's fucking like a Cliff Notes version of Westerosi history. So I can't tell you. I don't know. What I will say is I do think there will be ramifications for Rhaenyra, allowing people that have absolutely no ties or loyalty to her or the Targaryens, like in any way. I think that giving those people dragons may end up causing some problems in the future.
I real quick, I have a question specifically about House of the Dragon. Like, I know you know what's coming. Do you think the big thing that's coming down the pipe at some point, do you think that's going to happen in the season finale? You think they're going to save that till the next season?
I don't at this. I think I don't think that they could do it properly. And although I do think in the season finale, you're going to get some hints of areas and people that are going to be involved in the next massive event. But it does look like the finale is going to be a banger and pretty action packed too. So we'll see. Brando the Jedi gives some membership. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
Ryan for 10 euros. I apologize if you already covered it, but is Gina asking for monetary damages or something more? I think they started off at like the lowest baseline that you like were required to ask for this thing, and with decisions of how that could change when the case plays out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or even maybe like potentially for her like role to be like reinstated, like stuff like that were like potentially named in the remedies, but I don't know where that sits right now.
Yeah, I don't either.
Anak Maman just saw D and Deadpool and Wolverine. Bit of a mess, but I liked it. Didn't like the treatment of some of the heroes, but they made it clear they're mocking the actors, not the heroes, i.e. Chris Evans, too expensive. Yeah, like I said, the movie is kind of a fucking mess, but I had a lot of fun. And I think people treat things differently because it is a Deadpool and Wolverine movie that is meant to be like a parody and a mockery of so many different people and things, that some things that happen in that you would feel very different if that happened, say, in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness than if it happened in a Deadpool movie. Just by its nature, whether that's fair or not to have a different way to judge these things, I don't know, but I just think it's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
A small village's last loaf of bread becomes a YouTube member. Thank you.
That's crazy.
Anak Maman, I missed the RTD era of Doctor Who. Wasn't a big fan of what I saw. My brother got into it though. When he put on Matt Smith's 12th Hour, I saw Karen Gillan in a police girl outfit. That made me a fan. Hell yeah.
Matt Smith is Matt Smith is my favorite Doctor. In the writing in that, it's kind of hit or miss. It's not as good as David Tennant's, but it's pretty fucking good. And Matt Smith absolutely kills it. So, yeah.
Mr. Bungle with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Mr. Bungle.
Yeah,
that's a lot. And he had like 2 random ones earlier too, so it might be like 17.
Nice.
Jason Yankovic for 2. The Dreamcast controller was a torture device. Yeah, that was fucking awful. I didn't have one. I just played when I went over to my buddy's house. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Dave
Filoni's dog. I wish I was dead. Too bad. P.S. I hate my variant. Thank you,
That's
Dave
crazy.
Filoni's dog. A good old fashioned for 2. The Switch and Wii U Pro controllers are top tier. Yeah, the ones that you have to like buy extra.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the controller you get, even like the Joy-Con when you mash it up in the little control, that thing sucks. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Mr. Bungle provide the best feeling controllers when I'm peeing or watching Hubs. Thank you. Aaron Heckelman for 199. Nintendo Virtual Boy, worst game console ever. The Virtual Boy. I never played that.
I didn't play Virtual Boy either. It's too poor.
Dave Filoni's cat for 5. Don't hate me, dog. It's not my fault. My life is great. I'd trade places with you if I could, but I can't. Plus, you'd still get sexually assaulted, so no real point. Dave Filoni's house, dangerous for animals.
Yeah.
Darth Racer for 2. I agree with Jay.
Yeah.
DSP Day Cobra for 5. Guys, I still don't have enough chats. I got bills to pay. My wife Ryan to support, and I have to get Trump elected. I need more. Trump 2024.
There you go.
Thank you. DSP Day Cobra. Italian Stallion for 199. Thoughts on the Bane books? Favorite EU novels? The Bane books are, well, the first one is fucking phenomenal. One of the best, like, singular books in the entire EU. The second one was kind of rushed out due to, like, a book got canceled. They asked Drew Carbishin if he could finish it quicker than normal. He did. I still think it's a good book, but I think it's the worst of the 3. And then the third one's really, really good as well. Highly recommend the Bane series. Some of my favorite books are actually post Return of the Jedi. So I love, like, to me, Legacy of the Force is probably my favorite series, a 9-book series. New Jedi Order is fantastic. Fate of the Jedi, there's some really great parts in it, but it has its issues too. I don't like the big bad. I don't like Abeloth necessarily, which they're probably going to take for Ahsoka because, of course, they will.
Yeah.
And I think we're all caught up right around the 1 hour mark.
Oh, yeah, man.
Hold on. We got another one. Jeremy's gay for 2. I had 3 Xbox controllers, all died, and I'm not rough.
That's wild. Well,
I'm extremely rough on my controllers.
I've had some Xbox One controllers die. They get weird. They get really weird, wonky things with them. But if you know how to fix them, then they can last a long time if you know how to replace parts. But
well, Mike, what do you got going on, man? What are you up to?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be streaming later today on my channel, Epic Mike on YouTube. We've been just doing a lot of streams. I've been playing through Metal Gear Solid 2. I've never played those games before, so they've been kind of eye-opening. Getting pissed on in the second game was not something I expected. So yeah, you guys can check me out over there. I'm having a fun time with that. So yeah, that's what I got going on right now.
There you go. And I think if we can work it out, I think it'll be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a blast.
Awesome. So tomorrow, I think it's going to be me, you, and Jay. So
oh boy, that should be fun.
It should be fun. Definitely, it should be fun.
Ryan's not dreading that at all. He's like,
Mr. Bungle for a gifted membership again. Mr. Bungle with all these memberships. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Fear the Boogie Beardo 199 for 5. It's not my fault. My soundboard didn't work. I have protein in my urine from my years of abuse by my parents. My mom twitted my fucking tipples. Thank you,
wild.
Fear the Boogie Beardo. And that's about it. So we will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Shout out to the viewers on Rumble as well. And we will talk to you guys later.